Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to get into this Buddhist philosophy of concentration,
Okay.
and how it can help unlock your potential.
Sounds good.
We've got these excerpts from a piece called Owers,
Interesting.
and it really delves into this world.
It's fascinating stuff. It's all about harnessing the power of your mind.
Okay.
It's like, turning those scattered thoughts into like a laser-focused beam of energy.
Like a superpower almost.
Exactly. And using that to, achieve your goals and just live a more fulfilling life.
Now, you shared this source with us because you're really interested in practical ways to actually improve your focus.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm constantly battling distractions.
Right.
Between work, family, and just like the never-ending stream of information online.
It's everywhere.
It's so hard to stay focused on anything for very long.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive right in. What exactly does concentration mean within Buddhist philosophy?
So in this context, it's really about directing your mental energy towards a single point.
Okay.
That could be an idea, a task, even just your breath.
Oh, interesting.
And the source we're looking at, it compares it to a laser beam.
Okay.
When it's scattered, it barely has any impact.
Right.
But when you focus it, it can cut through steel.
That's a powerful image.
It is.
And I guess the opposite of that laser focus would be what they call the monkey mind, right?
Precisely.
Okay.
The monkey mind is this restless, untamed aspect of our consciousness
Okay.
that just constantly jumps from one thought to another, craving distraction, resisting stillness.
So we've all got this little monkey running wild in our heads.
We do. It's part of the human experience.
What are some of the things that this monkey does that really distracts us from our goals?
Well, according to the Buddhist teachings in Aliceta, the monkey mind thrives on what's called monkey business.
Monkey business.
This includes things like constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding discomfort.
So that explains why it's so easy to procrastinate on a difficult task or get sucked into the endless scroll of social media.
Exactly. We're wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain.
Right.
But this often leads to this cycle of distraction and just unfulfilled potential.
It's like the monkey is running the show and we're just along for the ride.
In a sense, yes, but the good news is we can train the monkey.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
How do we start taming this wild monkey mind?
Well, the first step is awareness.
Okay.
Recognizing those moments when your attention is being pulled away, and instead of getting frustrated,
Yeah.
simply observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment, like watching clouds pass by.
That sounds easier said than done.
It does take practice.
Do you have any tips for developing this kind of mindful awareness?
Absolutely. We'll be diving into some practical techniques a bit later, but for now, just try to notice when your attention wanders.
Okay.
And instead of criticizing yourself gently, guide it back to the task at hand.
So it's a process of gently redirecting the monkey's attention rather than trying to suppress it completely.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a sense of inner peace and stability amidst the chaos.
That makes a lot of sense. But I have to ask, why is this ability to concentrate so important? I mean, beyond just getting things done more efficiently, is there a deeper benefit to cultivating focus?
In Buddhist philosophy, concentration is not just about productivity.
Okay.
It's about unlocking your full potential as a human being. It's about cultivating wisdom, compassion, and ultimately liberation from suffering.
Wow, that's a much bigger picture than I initially imagined.
It's a transformative journey.
So it's not just about checking things off our to-do list, but about living a more meaningful and fulfilling life.
Precisely when we're able to focus our attention, we can be more present in our lives, more connected to ourselves and others, and more capable of making wise choices that lead to happiness and well-being.
This is starting to sound like a recipe for a truly fulfilling life.
It can be.
But let's face it, distractions are everywhere.
They are.
How do we even begin to overcome them in this modern world?
You're absolutely right. Distractions are a constant battle, and they come from both external sources like our environment and technology, and internal ones like our own thoughts and emotions.
Oh, those internal distractions are the worst.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can be sitting in a perfectly quiet room and my mind will still find a way to create chaos.
And that's where understanding the Buddhist perspective on attachment and aversion can be really helpful.
Okay, remind me again how those concepts relate to distractions.
Essentially, attachment is our tendency to cling to pleasurable experiences,
Right.
while aversion is our desire to avoid unpleasant ones.
Okay.
And Lori explains that these tendencies are often at the root of our internal distractions.
So for example, if I'm procrastinating on a difficult task, it's because I'm attached to the comfort of avoiding it and averse to the potential discomfort of facing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the same goes for getting sucked into social media. We're often attached to the quick hit of dopamine that comes from likes and comments, and averse to the potential boredom or discomfort of being alone with our thoughts.
Wow, that's incredibly insightful. It's like seeing my own distractions in a whole new light.
That's the power of awareness.
Okay.
And once we start to recognize these patterns, we can begin to develop strategies for overcoming them.
Which I'm guessing is where those practical techniques you mentioned come in.
You got it. We'll dive into those, right?
Okay, so let's talk about those practical techniques
Right.
for taming the monkey mind.
Yeah,
And you mentioned we could do this in just 10 minutes a day.
absolutely. Even small, consistent efforts can yield significant results. Remember that concept of karma we talked about?
Right, tiny drops of water carving out a canyon eventually.
Exactly.
Okay, so where do we start?
Upana highlights the power of the breath. It's a simple yet profound tool that's always available to us. And in Buddhist teachings, the breath is considered this bridge between the body and the mind.
Okay, so I can see how like focusing on my breath could help me stay present. But how exactly do I do that? Do I have to breathe in like a special way?
No, it can be as simple as bringing your attention to your breath as you inhale and exhale. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the coolness of the air as you breathe in, and the warmth as you breathe out.
So it's about really like tuning into the physical sensations of breathing.
Precisely. And when your mind wanders, which it inevitably will, gently guide it back to the breath without judgment. No harsh self-criticism allowed.
I'm actually feeling a little more relaxed just thinking about it.
Good.
What are some other techniques we can try?
The body scan is another fantastic tool for developing concentration and just cultivating a deeper mind-body connection.
Okay, I've heard of this before, but honestly, I always picture like those futuristic medical scanners from sci-fi movies.
Sure.
What does a body scan actually involve?
It's a lot more down to earth than that. Basically, you bring your attention to different parts of your body, starting with your toes and slowly moving upwards. You simply observe any sensations you feel, tingling, warmth, pressure, tightness, without trying to change them.
So it's a way of becoming more aware of what's happening in my body right now.
Precisely, and as you scan your body, you can imagine breathing into any areas of tension, gently releasing them with each exhale.
That sounds really relaxing. And you mentioned that this can help with focus too.
Absolutely. By becoming more aware of our physical sensations, we're less likely to get carried away by our thoughts and emotions. It's like anchoring our attention in the present moment.
Okay, I'm definitely adding that to my 10-minute practice toolkit.
Good.
What else can we do to strengthen our concentration?
Well, Tare also emphasizes the power of gratitude.
Gratitude. I know it's important to be thankful, but how does that tie into improving focus?
When we practice gratitude, we shift our attention away from negativity and distractions and focus on the positive aspects of our lives.
So it's like clearing out the mental clutter and making space for like clarity and focus.
Exactly. It's like cleaning your mental windshield so you can see the road ahead more clearly.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
How can we incorporate gratitude into our daily routine?
A simple practice is to take a few moments each day to reflect on 3 things you're grateful for. They can be big or small, simple or profound. The key is to really savor the feeling of appreciation.
I'm sensing a theme here. A lot of these techniques seem to involve like creating space, whether it's physical space through decluttering or mental space through gratitude and mindful awareness.
You're absolutely right. It's about clearing away distractions and creating a more peaceful internal environment where focus can flourish.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So what are some other ways we can create that space for focus in our busy lives?
Shimyo talks about the importance of single tasking.
Single tasking.
In our world of constant multitasking, this might seem counterintuitive, but it's a game changer for productivity and peace of mind.
You mean like actually finishing one task before moving on to the next?
I know, right? But it's incredibly effective. Instead of juggling multiple tasks, try giving your full attention to one thing at a time.
But isn't multitasking supposed to be more efficient?
Research has actually shown that when we try to do too many things at once, our attention becomes fragmented, leading to errors, stress, and just a feeling of overwhelm. Single tasking, on the other hand, allows us to work more efficiently and effectively.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. What are some tips for becoming a more masterful single tasker?
Start by identifying your biggest distractions and creating strategies for minimizing them. For example, if your phone is a constant source of temptation, try putting it on airplane mode or in another room while you're working on a task.
Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly. And if you have to be online for work, There are some great tools and techniques for managing digital distractions. You can use website blockers to prevent yourself from getting sucked into social media, or try the Pomodoro technique, which involves working in focused bursts with short breaks in between.
I've heard of the Pomodoro technique. It sounds like a good way to kind of break down larger tasks into manageable chunks.
Exactly. And it also helps to train your mind to stay focused for longer periods.
This is also helpful, but I'm also curious about how we can set ourselves up for success before we even begin a task.
That's where setting clear intentions comes in before you start working on something. Take a few moments to ask yourself, what is my goal for this task? What do I want to accomplish?
So it's about having like a clear destination in mind before I set off on my mental journey.
Precisely, and once you have that intention in place, you can visualize yourself successfully completing the task. Imagine yourself working with focus and ease, feeling a sense of accomplishment as you reach your goal.
I've heard the visualization is a powerful tool for athletes and performers. Can it really help with everyday tasks too?
Absolutely. Visualization helps to prime your brain for success by creating a mental blueprint for the actions you want to take.
Wow, that's fascinating. So it's like giving my brain a sneak peek of the finish line, which helps to motivate me to keep going.
Exactly. And the more vividly you can imagine it, the more powerful the effect will be.
This is giving me so many ideas. I'm already feeling more empowered to create a more focused and intentional life.
That's wonderful to hear. And remember, it's about progress, not perfection.
Right. I'm definitely going to try incorporating some of these techniques into my daily routine. But I'm also wondering about the bigger picture. How do we turn these techniques into lasting habits that truly transform our lives?
That's a great question, and one we can delve into further.
Okay, so we've explored these wonderful techniques for cultivating concentration.
Yeah.
But how do we actually, weave them into our lives so they become more than just fleeting practices?
Right.
I'm all about like trying new things,
Yeah.
but I really want to make these changes stick.
That's the key, isn't it? Turning those good intentions into lasting habits.
Right, exactly.
And Johnny actually offers some great insights into this process,
Okay,
drawing from this Buddhist concept of karma.
okay. I remember we touched on karma earlier.
Yeah.
Remind me how it connects to building habits.
Yeah, so it's this principle of cause and effect, right?
Okay.
Every action we take creates this ripple that shapes our future experiences.
Okay.
So even small efforts repeated consistently have a huge impact over time.
Yeah.
It's like planting seeds with patience and nurturing, they'll eventually blossom into a beautiful garden.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So it's not about achieving like some perfect state of unwavering focus overnight,
Right.
but about gradually cultivating those positive habits.
Exactly.
But let's be real life can get pretty hectic. How do we actually make space for these practices when we're juggling a million things?
You hit the nail on the head. It's about making space. And the first step is starting small.
Okay.
Choose one technique that resonates with you and commit to practicing it for just a few minutes each day.
Okay.
Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do everything at once.
So it's about quality over quantity.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
better to spend 5 minutes fully engaged in a mindful breathing exercise
Okay.
than to force yourself to sit for an hour with a wandering mind.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's say I choose mindful breathing as my starting point.
Okay.
How can I make sure I actually stick with it?
One powerful strategy is to use what are called triggers.
Triggers.
These are basically cues that remind you to engage in your chosen practice.
Okay.
You can link it to an existing habit,
Okay.
like brushing your teeth or having your morning coffee.
So like while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew,
Mm-hmm.
I could take a few mindful breaths.
Mm-hmm.
I could call it my mindfulness latte.
Exactly. You're turning that everyday routine into a trigger for a moment of mindfulness.
Okay.
And you can apply this to other techniques too.
Right.
Combine a body scan with your evening shower or practice gratitude while you're eating dinner.
I'm starting to see how these small but consistent actions can really add up over time.
Yeah.
But what about our environment? It seems like our surroundings can also play a big role in our ability to focus.
Absolutely. Our external environment can either support or sabotage our efforts to cultivate concentration.
Yep.
Think about it. A cluttered workspace often leads to a cluttered mind.
Okay, so I need to channel my inner Marie Kondo and like declutter my entire life.
Well, it doesn't have to be that extreme, but creating a focused, friendly environment can make a world of difference. Start by decluttering your workspace.
Okay.
Clear off your desk. Keep only essential items within reach.
Out with the clutter, in with the focus. What other tips do you have for creating a space that supports concentration?
Minimize distractions as much as possible.
Oh, okay.
This might mean turning off notifications on your phone and computer, letting your family or roommates know you need some uninterrupted time, or even investing in some noise-canceling headphones.
It's almost like creating a mental sanctuary, like a quiet space where I can escape the chaos of the outside world.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And if you can designate a specific space in your home for your focus practice,
Okay.
a quiet corner, a cozy chair, whatever, feels inviting and calming.
I love that idea. A sacred space dedicated to mindfulness.
Right,
But I also want to be realistic. I know I'm not going to be perfect at this.
of course.
What happens when I inevitably slip up?
Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. The Akan emphasizes the importance of approaching this journey with a beginner's mind,
Okay.
with curiosity, openness, and without judgment.
So it's okay to be a work in progress.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the process with all its ups and downs.
Okay.
When your mind wanders or you skip a day of practice, don't beat yourself up about it.
Okay.
Simply acknowledge it with kindness and gently guide yourself back to the present moment.
That's such a relief to hear. I think I was putting too much pressure on myself,
Right.
which ironically was making it harder to focus.
It's a common trap, but the more we practice self-compassion, the easier it becomes to cultivate a consistent practice.
Okay.
And as we cultivate concentration, we also cultivate patience, resilience, and a deeper understanding of ourselves.
This has been such an insightful deep dive.
I'm glad to hear that.
I feel like I have a whole new set of tools and perspectives for approaching not just my focus, but my life as a whole.
That's the beauty of it. It ripples out into all areas of our lives.
That's a beautiful image. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insights with us today. I'm feeling inspired to put all of this into practice.
It's been a pleasure diving deep into this topic with you, and to all of you listening, remember, even small steps taken consistently can lead to profound transformations. So what small step can you take today to cultivate greater focus in your life?
That's a great question to ponder.
Start small, be consistent, and watch your potential unfold.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the Buddhist philosophy of concentration. We hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.